Wherever you're at, you can begin coming into your breath, into awareness of the body, awareness of the mind. Notice any sensations that are present for you. All of it continually changing. Our thought patterns, sensations in the body. Breathing into that ebb and flow. And letting everything get heavy. Connecting to the ground, to the earth that's supporting us. Can bring our awareness to something that is supporting you right now. It could simply be the ground. It might be a self-care practice, a person, a pet, a trashy TV show. Something that is supporting you. And bringing the energy of that, the feeling of it, into your sort of immediate space. With gratitude, breathing into that support, as well as the support of all of us here in our own spaces, practicing together. And letting all of that go. We'll all find our way on to our backs if you're not already there. The playlist is pretty chill, and you're welcome if you'd like music to play that whenever. And all of us being supported by the ground, sinking into your mat on your back. We'll slowly let your head rock over to the right side. So as if your head is maybe full of sand or water, and it just falls over to the right. And then coming back to center, again, heavy head full of water, it drips to the other side. The nose paints the ceiling as you cross the gaze over to the left. And then coming back to center, doing each side again, head heavy, turning to one side. And back to center. And to the other side. And coming back to center. Keeping the feet on the ground, we'll let the knees drop over to the right side. Gaze can follow. Your shoulders might come a little bit up off the ground. And then the knees find back center and your head comes back, neutral spine. And the other way, our knees rock to the left and our gaze falls to the left. Gaze comes back and our knees come back to center. And doing each side one more time. The knees drop to the right, gaze to the right. The knees back to center, gaze back. And then left side, knees fall, gaze follows. And then gaze comes back, the knees come back. And one more evolution of this. The knees drop over to the right. Our gaze drops over to the right. And then the left hand reaches up and over your head, and you fall over onto your fetal position on the right side. And take a moment here, offering care, gentleness as you rest on your side body. And then sequentially, our fingertips reach back up and over to the left. Our gaze comes back towards the ceiling and the knees follow. And then to the left side, the knees drop to the left, gaze to the left. Right fingertips reach up and over, coming onto this fetal position on the left side. Right fingertips reach up and back sequentially, the gaze and then the knees follow. We'll do this one more time in our whole body filled with water or sand. Knees drop to the right, the gaze, and then the left fingertips reach up and over onto our side body. Fingertips reach up and back to the left. Our gaze comes back and knees follow. And then to the left side, the knees drop to the left. Our gaze looks over to the left and our fingertips reach up and over. It's left side body. And then fingertips reaching up and back, our gaze and knees. And reach both legs up towards the ceiling and pointing and flexing the feet. Articulating through the toes, giving them some toes and ankles. Feet come back to the ground. Gentle baby bridge, hips float up. Deepen your breath here. And lowering our sit bones, reaching for the outsides of our feet, happy baby. Here you can rock and stretch from side to side, stretching the legs, stretching and bending them. And knees to our chest, so we get some rocks along the length of your spine. Doing as many as feel delightful. And meeting in tabletop pose. We'll continue that momentum going right into your cat and cow practice, right into any intuitive movement with your spine. Feeling the spine from the inside. And you might imagine pushing the air with your body. Moving the air around. Continuing with this, you might imagine a gust of wind coming into your space. This could change the pattern of your movement, it might surprise you, or change the tempo of your movement. And then the wind settles and your spine settles into a neutral spine. We'll stretch the right toes behind us, press through that heel. Feel your length here from the heel through your crown. And then opening up into modified side plank. So the back heel spins down, your right fingertips reach up, and that left shin might swivel, supporting you. Reaching the fingertips up high towards the ceiling. Curling our fingertips down, as if to thread the needle, so our fingertips reach towards the ground between your left hand and knee, and then they peel back up. We'll do this 3 times total, moving with your breath, wringing out our insides like a wet washcloth. The fingertips can stay upright. We'll shift our weight into our left hand, lifting a back leg, floating, balancing. And that foot can come down. Our legs are going to stay right where they're at. We're going to come up to gate pose, bringing our spine upwards. You might bend that left elbow and spring into that wrist, coming upright to gate pose. And keeping that momentum, big side bend, reaching along that long stretched leg. And coming back upright, the left hand comes back to the ground, side plank. And we'll move through the side plank and gate pose side bend 2 more times. Springing upright, taking a big side bend. And maybe never fully arriving to stillness. We have a continual arriving, present to wherever we find ourselves, balanced or unbalanced. Next time you find yourself inside plank, you can stay here. And then hands and knees come to the ground, tabletop. Take one cat and cow here, dropping the belly, lifting the chest, and curving the spine. Neutral spine, stretching the left toes behind us, pressing through that heel, feeling your length from heel to crown. And then opening up side plank. Right shin can swivel. Left fingertips reaching up towards the ceiling. Curling the fingertips down as you attempt to thread the needle, squeezing, twisting our torso, and then lifting, peeling the fingertips back up. Doing this a couple more times. Maybe your gaze really follows your hand. Noticing your hand traveling across space. The next time your hand is reaching up towards the ceiling, you can stay here. And then reaching towards in the direction of your crown, shifting our weight into that right hand, lifting the back leg, floating, balancing. And then foot comes down and legs stay where they're at as we spring up into gate pose, big side bend. And flowing back and forth between our side plank and our side bend in gate pose. The next time you're inside plank, stay here. And then hands and knees back to the ground. We'll tuck the toes, down dog. You can pedal through the legs. Letting the spine unfurl, unravel out into plank pose. pose, curving the spine, and energy coming out of crown and heels. Lowering yourself all the way to the ground, dropping the knees or lowering through chaturanga. And cobra, our palms press into the ground, lifting the chest up. Gaze just ahead of us. Back to down dog. You might push through your tabletop. And then we'll move through that again, unfurling the spine out to plank. Take a breath here, and then lowering your body to the ground. Cobra pose. And back to down dog. Make your feet a little bit wider than your hips, maybe the length of your mat, and we'll walk our hands back towards our feet. Squatting down, just sinking the hips down, and we can move this back and forth. So you might come up on the heels, rocking from side to side, twisting. Move it. Your squat's a little more upright, that's cool too. Just feeling into your hips. And then walking the hands out to down dog. We'll reach our right leg up high. Taking a big breath in, we'll take knee to nose, hovering. Inhale, extend. And then knee to the right elbow and step it there, dropping the knee down, lizard pose. Again, if you want blocks to build the ground up to you, that can be supportive. Wherever your hands are, take a moment to lift from the very center of your chest, as if there's a string sort of pulling you forward. A lift in the chest, gaze forward. And then you can relax that a little bit and twist towards the right. That right arm can reach up, or you can press into your thigh. Unwinding from the twist, we'll tuck that back toe and walking our hands to that back foot, coming into a wide forward fold. We'll walk our hands to that left foot and grab onto your ankle or wherever you can grab and pull, as if you want to pull that foot up off the ground. Releasing your grip, walking your hands back to the front. Three-legged dog, that right leg goes up into the air. And bend the knee, opening the hips, looking under that right armpit. Breathe here. And we'll shift into plank pose, either lowering that right leg, or if you'd like to keep the right leg floating up for a one-legged plank. Going through your flow, your chaturanga, cobra, up dog, meeting in down dog. 3 breaths in your down dog when you arrive. You might make a sigh or buzz the lips. Squeeze the face together and then release it. Letting go of any tension that's not really supporting us. Left leg reaches up high. And with your breath, pulling knee to nose, hovering. And then bringing it back upright. Knee comes to that left elbow and steps to the outside of your hand, lowering the back knee, lizard pose. Hands on the ground or on your block. Take a few breaths with a lifted chest. And then twisting towards your left, pressing into that thigh, reaching the left fingertips up high. Hand come down, back toe will tuck under, and we walk our hands to that back right foot and grab on, pull. Might be helpful to even bend that left knee. And bring awareness to where sensation is happening for you right now, in the side body, in the back of the legs. And then releasing our grip, hands walk to the top of the mat. Three-legged dog, our left leg shoots up in the air. I'm bending the knee, looking under the left armpit. Stay here for a breath. Shifting into plank, either lowering the left leg or keeping it floating, going through your flow. Three breaths in your down dog. Knowing that your flow can be your chaturanga, it can be child's pose, it could be down dog. And it can change throughout your practice. Right leg reaches up. We'll bring that right knee right to the outside of that right elbow again, dropping the knee lizard. And here, one thing you can try, shifting our hips back a little bit, we'll walk our right hand underneath our right thigh. And then shifting our weight a little bit forward and back, like your calf and thigh are sort of biting your upper arm. You can bring that arm back to the inside of your right foot, tucking our toes, and then again, walking our hands to that back foot, wide forward fold, grab on. And then releasing that, have a slight bend in your knees and slowly roll up to standing in this wide stance. We'll turn our right toes forward, coming into warrior two. You need to adjust your feet. Arms reaching forward and back. Standing in your strength and in your dignity. We'll inhale and reverse warrior, reaching our right fingertips up high. Side angle, elbow comes to thigh, left fingertips long. Right elbow can stay on your thigh, or you can bind if that's in your practice. Unwinding, coming upright, stretching the front leg, reverse, triangle. Coming back upright, we'll bend that knee again. Coming into half moon. So we'll reach this hand forward. You can step the back foot in. Our hips stay square to the side as we lift that back leg up. Blocks are really helpful. I grab mine. Yeah, and this half moon, it's okay to be messy. It's okay to fall out of it. Coming back to the practice. Option to grab that top foot with your left hand if you'd like, and pressing in, foot to hand. As we come out of this, we're going to come to standing, and you can keep that left leg floating possibly. Walls, couches are all welcome to support you here. So this left knee is in front of us. Holding on to the knee with your right hand, we'll open up to a twist. Nice. And then coming forward, you'll release that foot down, mountain pose. And standing here for a few breaths, taking in your length, vertical length. Inhale, reach our arms up high. Exhale, forward fold. Take a halfway lift, extending the spine long. And then exhale, hands down and stepping back to down dog. Option to go through your flow, knowing that it is uniquely yours. From down dog, our left leg will reach up high. Pulling the knee into left elbow and stepping it to the outside, dropping the knee, lizard pose. Option here for the left hand to come underneath. You might shift your hips back, coming underneath the thigh, and shifting our weight forward and back, fighting that upper thigh with your calf. Unwinding out of that, we'll tuck our back toe and walking our hands to the back foot. Grabbing on to your right ankle or calf and pulling. And releasing the hands to center, offering a slight bend in your knees as you roll yourself upright, head last. And the warrior two on the left side, so the left toes point forward, arms long, shoulders relaxed. Arriving. Reverse warrior. Left fingertips reaching upright. Side angle, elbow comes to thigh, right fingertips long, option to bind. Unwinding, coming upright, stretching that front leg, reverse triangle. And then coming upright, slight bend to that front knee. We can step the back foot in as we tip into half moon. Utilizing the supports available to you as you lift that back leg up. Maybe grabbing that top foot if that's interesting and available to you. Whew. Tapping into that center of calm, of stillness, even if the body isn't still. And then coming upright, we can keep that right knee floating and bringing it forward, holding on to it. Holding on to it with the left hand, twisting towards the right. And then lowering that leg, mountain pose. Taking a couple breaths here. Inhale, arms reach up. Then exhale, forward fold. Taking a halfway lift. And hands come to the ground, stepping back to down dog. Moving, resting. Nice. We'll shift into plank pose. And holding this here, lengthening. We'll lower all the way to the ground as slowly as possible. Like you're resisting it. But once you get there, you can release everything to the ground, softening the front body. Reaching the arms forward ahead of you. Forehead can come to the ground. On your next breath, we'll reach the right arm and the left leg will float up. Might just be a couple inches. They'll reach up just a little bit up off the ground. Floating quality. And then lowering down. Left arm, right leg, float up. Gaze just ahead of you, or you can also leave your forehead on the ground. And then lowering down. We'll do each side one more time. Right arm, left leg, floating up. And floating down. Left arm, right leg, floating up. And floating down. Both arms and legs will float up. And to keep it from being too stagnant, you might move the arms from side to side or the legs from side to side, a swimming or floating quality. Not getting too stuck in it being rigid. And then relaxing everything to the ground. We'll push back to child's pose. Rounding the spine, melting over your legs. Down dog. Looking to the top of your mat, you can walk your feet forward. And coming up to standing. Hands can rest at heart center. Prayer pose, Anjali Mudra. And bringing the right knee in front of us. Again, we'll take another twist. Right knee ahead of us, grabbing it with the left hand. Twisting to the right. And coming back to center, we'll release our grip of the knee, keeping the foot floating. We're going to press this foot back into airplane pose. Having a similar quality here of floating, the arms can reach from side to side. I like to pretend I'm skydiving. Right foot comes to the ground just a few feet behind the left. Pyramid pose. You can melt over that front leg. Hands to the ground or to your blocks. Letting go of any tension or gripping in the neck and shoulders. We'll shift our weight into this front foot, into the this left foot. right knee will tuck behind the left. We'll come to a seat. And if it doesn't look quite like that, that's fine. So our seat, our left knee is up top, and we'll take a seated twist, hooking the elbow or clasping it around. Left fingertips can reach to the ground, or you could bind them and they could reach for your right hip. And unwinding, arms will keep reaching over towards the right and taking this funky push up, turning your cheek to one side and letting the upper body fall forward and lifting back up. And take one more of those. Feels kind of good, makes me feel strong. And then coming back to center, boat pose, bouncing on our sit bones. We'll take a low boat pose, lowering upper body and ankles just above the ground. And coming upright, one more, lowering. And upright, crossing the ankles, making our way into down dog. And here, stay in down dog or shift through a vinyasa if you're feeling like building more heat. Most importantly, breathe, keeping the breath steady. Looking to the top of your mat, we'll come to standing at the top of our mat, arms reach up. And shifting our weight into the right foot, our left knee comes up. Grabbing it with the right hand and twisting. And unwinding this twist, keeping that left leg floating, we'll press this heel back behind us, floating airplane. And that left foot comes to the ground just a few feet behind our right, pyramid pose, melting over the front leg. Shifting our weight into the front foot, into the right foot, tucking this back knee behind, coming to a seat. So right knee is up top. And we'll take a twist, twisting towards the right. Right arm reaching to the ground, your fingertips resting on the ground or binding behind you. Reaching for that left hip. Unwinding and keeping the hands moving to the left and taking this funky push up, turning your cheek to one side and slowly pressing up. Doing two of those. And then unwinding, another boat pose. Lowering, low boat, and up, and one more low boat, and up, and then lowering to the ground, but maybe you'll go through low boat again, resisting the ground. Eventually releasing onto our backs. Back body soft. Letting the water, the sand of our body settling to our mats, to the ground. Feeling the ground rising up to support you here. Bring our feet into towards our sit bones. Come into bridge pose. Reaching, letting the hips float up. Slight tug of the chin. An option here, you can always place a block underneath the back if you need some support for your bridge tonight. From here, we'll reach the right leg up high, one-legged bridge. Really pressing through that left foot. Then ankle comes to knee and we'll lower down, reaching through for figure four pose. Our hands just supporting gravity and bringing this leg structure a little bit closer to us. We're going for sensation. And you get to choose how much and where. You can always release a little or pull more deeply. And releasing our grip, we'll twist this figure four pose and this leg structure can rock over towards the left. The right foot might come around to the ground. Opening the arms wide, or you might grab onto that right ankle. And unwinding, coming back to center. Stretching both legs up towards the ground, or up towards the ceiling. Shake them out a bit. And then feet come to our mat. Bridge on the other side. Well, first regular bridge, just letting the hips come up. Taking an arm stance that's supportive for you, clasping the hands, rolling the shoulders underneath, or just pressing the palms into the ground and lifting the left leg up. Really pressing through that right foot. Right leg is fired up. Then ankle comes to knee, press once more, and lowering the seat down, reaching through figure four on the side. Rocking, settling yourself into a sensational figure four. Breath, body, sensation, mind, never the same in one moment, from moment to moment. You can release your grip and letting this leg structure fall over towards the right. Left foot can come to the ground, maybe grabbing that ankle as you open up. Coming back, legs come back. We'll bring the knees into our chest. And rocking along the length of your spine, we'll come back up to a seat. And we'll extend the legs out long. You might wiggle or get those sit bones on the ground. And reaching out for a nice forward fold. Up and over, hinging at the hips. Wherever the hands land, maybe they grab your toes or they rest on, grab your shins. And then coming upright, we'll bring the left, open the left knee to the side. The left foot will come to the inside of our thigh. We're really gonna try to open the hips here. So it's more than just a tree pose, but we're kind of opening the hips. It's more of a obtuse angle. And sitting upright, we'll twist towards this bent knee. Left arm reaches up and over towards the extended foot. A twisted side bend. And breathing, making space. And coming upright as you're ready. You can bring that knee, your hands could help you. And bring both knees up a bit and just take a gentle fold over the knees. Forehead can rest on the knees. And coming upright, legs extend, the right knee bends, that foot coming to the inside of the left thigh and then opening a bit wider. We have that obtuse angle with the hips. Sitting up tall, rooting down from the sit bones through your crown, we'll twist towards the bent knee. You can grab it with the left hand. Right hand reaches up and over, big side bend. And slowly coming upright, holding the legs in, lowering yourself with care all the way back onto your backs. Legs will come up again and either staying here, just in a suspended legs up the wall. You could find a wall, you could stay here. You could also come into a shoulder stand practice. Lifting the hips above the head. And as you be ready to come out of this practice, you can reach for the outsides of the feet and come into happy baby. Yeah, noticing what's changed, what's similar to from your happy baby in the beginning of class. From here, taking the next few moments of minutes of class to close it out for yourself. Any movements and postures that would be delicious to your body. What would be supportive to you right now? Hmm. And with no rush at all, making your way to a final resting place that's reclined or seated. Taking this time for integration, our yoga sleep. Bringing awareness back to the support of the ground, wherever your body is making contact with the ground. As we pull energy from the ground, invite some movement. Gently waking ourselves. Staying right here. If you're feeling supported here, we're coming to a seat if you'd like to close your practice. Hands can find somewhere where they feel like home right now. And I'll offer an Om if you'd like to join me or just listen. Taking a big inhale. Om. With gratitude, we can bow forward for ourselves and this practice and this community. Thank you so much for being here.